And then it went further. If there were people who were taking a strong position against this Mu'tazili explanation of things, they would be threatened. They were right now it went to threats. Something will happen to you. You'll be executed, and these types of things. In the middle of this, there was an opposition figure. There were a few of them, but the one who survived the major opposition to this combination of al-i'tizal with the government of the time was Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the well-known faqih, who disagreed with the way the Mu'tazila were explaining things. He was put in prison. Obviously right now he's disagreeing with al-Mu'tazila, and he's disagreeing with the government that has now adopted al-i'tizal. So they threw him into prison for 18 months. He was tortured. It was like they almost shaved his skin with iron and steel, a form of torture to have him renounce his opinion. He didn't. He gained popularity among many Muslims for the principled position that he had against this official and enforced opinion upon the people. He was in a sense exiled. He stayed away from public towards the end of his life. He stayed away from the public. He didn't even attend the Jama'ah prayers, of course, until he died. Now we have a very serious disagreement between the Mu'tazila on one side and the Fuqaha and the Muhaddithin on the other side.
Sorry, really quickly, at what point then did he write his books?
Who?
If Ahmad ibn Hanbal, if he was imprisoned and exiled and then he died. Was it before he was imprisoned, or was it after? Like how did his stuff survive if he was exiled and no one had access to it?
Well, this was only a matter of a couple of years. Ahmad ibn Hanbal had a long lifetime of activity.
Okay.
And whatever he wrote and whatever scholarly work he did was prior to this. He may have also done whatever he could do during this period, but obviously not the majority of it was within this small ending couple, 2 or 3 years of his life. So whatever he did was leading up to that. Okay. So Ahmad ibn Hanbal said in very clear words that the words of the Quran are not created. See, this put him in a crash position with the Mu'tazila that said the opposite. The words of the Quran are created. So here he says, someone saying it's not created, someone else saying they are created. So there's a collision course here between the two. So the Quran is created. The Quran is an event. The Quran is not, because it's created, it doesn't come from an infinite past, qadim. The Quran is not qadim. It doesn't come from an infinite past like Allah. Allah doesn't have a beginning. Therefore the Quran does have a beginning. The Mu'tazila thus were knocking heads with this other opinion that was expressed by Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Now, up to here, you'd think, well, this is maybe philosophers and theoreticians, they argue these things. But let me tell you how, and I don't know if you yourself can race ahead and figure what impact this would have, let's say, on Muslim-Christian relations. There's a well, let's not give it the historical name or the person who this is quoted in history books in which this, but let's put it this way. We have these two opinions, right? We just said them. The Quran is created, the Quran is not created. Let's say a Christian and a Muslim meet in that time, during this very divisive theoretical departure among the Muslims. A Christian comes to a Muslim, the average Muslim, you and me, not necessarily one of these Ahmad ibn Hanbal or Wasil ibn Ata. It's the average Muslim. They tell me, what do you think about Isa ibn Maryam? Who do you think he was? And so the Muslim probably would think, what is he going to say? The Muslim's going to quote the words of Allah. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about إِنَّمَا الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى ibn Maryam رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَكَلِمَتُهُ أَلْقَاهَا إِلَى مَرْيَمَ وَرُوحٌ مِّنْهُ. Now listen. This is Quran. We're not here in philosophy. These are all. إنما المسيح عيسى ابن مريم كلمة الله ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه. But the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, is Allah's word. كلمة الله ألقاها إليها, which he placed upon her, upon Maryam, and a ruh from Allah. Okay. Now with this argument going on, someone is saying Allah's word is created. Okay, you take that argument and you say here's Allah's word. These are Allah's words in your Quran, you Muslim. This is what you're reading. Isa ibn Maryam kalimatullah. So if you are saying, like Ahmad ibn Hanbal is saying that the Quran is not makhluk, then Isa ibn Maryam is not makhluk. So Ahmad ibn Hanbal, not knowing and not intending, is actually giving support to the Christian argument of the time. And the Mu'tazila, because they were familiar with what the Christians were saying, in their defense of Islam, they were saying the Quran is makhluk, so that the Christians cannot make a fuss in this area. So the Mu'tazila were actually defending Islam. Ahmad ibn Hanbal in his own way thought he was defending Islam. So we can say that these Mu'tazila, in truth be said, they were a true philosophical class of Muslims. It's not some group of intellectuals that we dismiss. They went off the deep edge. No, they did not go off any deep edge. They were thinking through, and they were responding to the climate and the questions and the intrigue and the doubts that were spread all over the place. And they were doing a service to Islam and the Muslims in their own way. The problem then became when they linked up with the government. That was almost their undoing. When they linked up with the Abbasi government, the popular trend turned against them. Of course, you're going to encounter, as is the case with all rational intellectuals, they have sometimes they may have missed the mark. Yeah, you'll find that. It's common. We're human beings, and this happens to human beings.